Psychic Insights, where pop culture meets higher consciousness and the tea is always a little bit mystical. I'm Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend, and around here we don't just watch the drama unfold, we read the energy behind it, whether it's celebrity scandals, reality TV, chaos, or true crime with a twist. I'm tuning in to bring you the intuitive scoop the headlines miss. So buckle up, because your aura's about to get entertained. Welcome back to my channel. It's Robin Richardson, your psychic girlfriend. And thank you for supporting my channel, liking and subscribing, and commenting, as long as it's kind. Okay, we had to do it. It's our girl Laura Owens' birthday, May 14th. Normally when we think about birthdays, we think fresh start, we think new energy, we think clean slate. But I'm going to be honest, it doesn't feel like a reset. It feels like a checkpoint. Like one of those moments where life kind of pauses and you say, okay, what are we doing here? And today I want to look at what's exactly unfolding for her, not in a place of judgment. I'll try. I can't promise. But from a place of awareness. Because when you understand the energy, you start to see it isn't random. Remember, these are my psychic insights, my personal commentary for entertainment purposes only. So happy birthday, Laura Owens. All right. First thing I looked at was her human design. And we've talked about this in previous episodes. She's a projector. That makes a lot of sense. And if you don't know what that means, I'm going to keep it real simple. Projectors are not here to chase, push, or force things to happen. Do you hear that, Laura? Wake up. They're here to be recognized and invited. And when a projector starts pushing, especially in emotional situations, life tends to push back, not as a punishment, as a correction. And then you layer in the fact that she has emotional authority, which means she's not designed to make decisions in the heat of the moment. She's meant to feel, process, and then gain clarity over time. So when I look at everything that's unfolded with her story for years, what stands out to me is this. This is someone who acted in the wave, not after the wave. And now she's living inside the consequences of that. All right, so here's the other piece that's really important. Really important. She's a 6-2 profile. And I love this for teaching because it's very real life. The 6th line goes through phases. And one of those phases is what is called the fall, where things don't work, things get exposed, things don't go the way you thought they would. And you're forced into reflection, not optional reflection. Like, you don't get to skip this part. So to me, this doesn't feel random. This feels like a moment where life is saying, you're going to sit with this and you're going to see yourself clearly. Kind of like mama. Go sit over there and think about your life choices. Okay, so let's talk about what's happening energetically. So if I zoom out and just look at the energy that she's in overall, so not light energy, this is what I would call collapse and rebuild cycle. And this is where what's being hidden starts to come up even more. What's been avoided becomes unavoidable, and the version of you that you've been operating from cracks. And I want to be really clear about something. This isn't about punishment, okay? This is about truth. And truth has a way of finding its way to the surface, whether we're ready for it or not. So I decided to pull some cards. As you know, that's what I like to do. And I asked, what is the energy she's in? What's unfolding and what's next? And you guys, it was a very, very clear story for me. First, I picked the book. And this is hidden energy. We've talked about this. Remember, you guys should follow along, right? The book, it's hidden energy. Things not fully revealed. Secrets will be revealed. Things not fully acknowledged. And this doesn't feel like just keeping some secrets. This feels like it's still being inside a story that hasn't been fully opened yet, like even internally. So I would say she's still in this closed chapter. All right. Then we have the fish. Now, this is where things start to expand. Emotionally, energetically, and possibly even legally. And I know she's involved in 14, she has 14 felony charges against her. But this is overwhelmed. This gets bigger. Things get harder to contain. And there's a feeling that's what started as something that she thought she could manage is no longer manageable. All right. And we have the letter. And this is where things shift from the narrative to the documents. From where he said, she said, they said, to what can be proven. What's written, what's recorded, and what's formalized. This is where things get real. Then we have the mice. And this is interesting because even if there is accountability, this is not a quick fix. This is erosion, anxiety, things slowly being taken apart. So even with change, there's still consequence. There's still unraveling. And then we have the birds, which is conversation, noise, people talking, heightened anxiety. So the next phase doesn't feel quiet for her. It feels louder. There's more discussion. There's more attention. All right. So if I zoom out, the story is this. What's hidden is expanding. What's to some documentation. There's things eroding, and lots of things are being talked about. And this does not go away quietly. It continues to unfold. And so I had to ask directly, which I don't normally do because I know that energy shifts and, it could be this. But I asked directly, is she likely to be incarcerated? I had to know. And the cards I got were mountain, house, clouds. And I want to be really grounded in this. This is not a clear yes. What shows is mountain, which are major obstacles and delays, which is unsurprising. Then we have the house, containment, personal life impacted, and the clouds, uncertainty and lack of clarity. So what this really feels like is restriction, but not resolution. Things taking time, things feeling heavy and contained. And honestly, even if this isn't physical confinement, it feels like a life that becomes very small, very limited. So what does the next year look like for her? Because she's going around the sun again, and this is where it gets interesting. The big theme here is not expansion energy, it's accountability and restructuring energy. This is reality versus the narrative, consequences versus avoidance, and identity breakdown and possible rebuild. So the question is, for this year, who are you when the story doesn't hold? So let me walk through this simply. From May through June, her birthday energy, this is where everything starts to feel real for her. Emotionally intense, pressure building. From July to August, these things get louder for her, more conversation, more visibility. This lines up perfectly with that bird's energy. And then September through October, this feels like a turning point. Decisions, movement, things becoming clearer. Possibly a moment she can't avoid it anymore. And then November through January, this is reflection. Things slow down externally, but internally it gets louder. And this is where reality sets in. And February of March of next year, 2027, this is the moment of truth. Does she shift or does she repeat the cycle? And the real question is, can she accept accountability? And the honest answer is yes. There is an opening for that, but it doesn't feel easy. And it doesn't feel immediate. It feels like something she's pushed towards over time, through pressure, through consequence, through having to sit with her own self. So, I want to end this a little differently because her birthday is coming up. So if she could hear me, I would say this. Laura, you don't have to keep holding the story together. There's a difference between protecting yourself and trapping yourself. And right now it feels like you're carrying something that's getting heavier, not lighter. You're not being asked to be perfect. You're being asked to be honest. And your next chapter doesn't begin when this all ends. It begins when you stop resisting what's being shown to you. And for those of you watching, if you're seeing pieces of yourself in this, what are you pushing instead of allowing? Where are you reacting instead of waiting? That's your work. And if you want deeper insights, let me know. Book a reading with me, a one-on-one. And you know what? Happy birthday to Laura Owens. I hope that you get exactly what you've created. And I will see you in the next one.